It's going to be a real treat. I heard Whitney speak when the GCC was presenting its bill to a legislative committee last session, and I was blown away with just how articulate and composed this young lady was, and her story is very moving. She's here to share it with us today and some of the things that she learned. So I invite Whitney Van Gundy to come up and speak.
Hi, I'm Whitney Van Gundy. I'm a senior at Norcross High School, and I'm a varsity competition and football cheerleader. On September 14, 2011, my squad and I were warming up for our homecoming pep rally that was to take place shortly. Unfortunately, during the pyramid, my bases dipped at different times while turning around to the front. This action left me to fall from high up, and I landed head first on our gym floor because my back spot accidentally grabbed my legs and upended me. Due to the fact that I continued to perform my routine and cheer the rest of the pep rally, I ended up feeling even worse than I had immediately after the fall. If it hadn't been required that my squad take the baseline test to receive our scores at the beginning of the year, I would have never known how serious my concussion truly was. I took the test 4 to 5 times over the next several days before the trainer requested I go to the doctor because a couple of my scores had begun to decrease severely. From a baseline of 84 before the season to it being in the 30s 8 days later. When my scores were back up to my baseline, I was allowed to begin 1 week of rehab and conditioning. At the end of all of this, I was out for the total of 2 months. While I'm up here, I also wanted to say that my family and I really appreciated my teachers and all of my classes being very supportive. When they would see that I might be having a hard time in class, they would tell me to put my head down. They also gave me additional help and support with my studies. In addition to baseline testing, I think that awareness training for teachers would be a good idea as I know it helped me. I want to take this opportunity to inform you of how important I believe it is for baseline testing to be a requirement for participation in high school athletics that are full contact sports like cheerleading. I have learned through this experience that athletes are at risk of much greater problems or even death if they return to a competition too early and are re-injured. I believe the state of Georgia should require baseline tests to be taken by all cheerleaders and other athletes that could hit their heads. One of my best friends is on our varsity basketball cheer squad, and she got a concussion, but they didn't have any baselines for her because she wasn't a competition cheerleader. So they were not completely sure how serious her concussion was. By requiring baseline testing, it could save lives of not only the dedicated cheerleaders, but of all the dedicated athletes in Georgia. Thank you for having me here today, and it is quite an honor, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Whitney, or her father's here with us today, as well, Mr. Van Gundy, if you'll wait. Thank you for being here. All right, I think, Whitney sums it up well. She tells us the story of what happened to her when she was injured, and these stories are so important. This is how we're going to reach the people making decisions about policy, about treatment, and it's just so important to put people like Whitney in front of a group like this to just explain to us what she went through, what she learned from it. So thank you, Whitney, for doing that. You did another great job. We'll just take this time, a minute here at the end, to entertain any questions on any topic.